Welcome back to the Cave of Wonders, Dreamwalkers. I am your Sith Lord Callous. I am where Star Wars lives, and this is another Rancorous review, my comic book edition. So if you're new here to the channel, I'm going to need you first to subscribe, then hit that like button, and turn on notifications so you can join the Dreamwalkers on our journey. That's right, Dreamwalkers, I said my comic book edition. Today will be my first, and I want to talk to you all about Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Dark Temple. This is issue number 1 of a 6-part series leading into Jedi Fallen Order, the upcoming third-person action-adventure game from Lucasfilm and Respawn Entertainment. Now, if you haven't already heard of that title, I have a reaction video and extended trailer video up on my channel. It should be popping up somewhere over my head, so go check that out. But first, finish watching this video because I do not need you messing with my retention time. But I would like the views, so go check it out after this. Thank you very much. Anyway, Dark Temple rounds out at about 24 pages, okay? It was written by Matthew Rosenberg with the art done by Paolo Vianelli, and the cover art was done by Marco Cicchetto. Vianelli, I like that. Let's get into the story. The story follows Jedi Master Eno Cordova and his Padawan Seer Junda on a mission to the remote planet of Ontotho to oversee the excavation of a mysterious temple. But what I found most interesting is that the prologue actually takes place years before the main story begins, ironically on the same planet of the same name, right? Ontotho. So I think we have some great foreshadowing going on here. I could be wrong. I have been before. Now, an Imperial task force led by the same Inquisitor that we get to see a glimpse of in the Jedi Fallen Order trailer is sent to reinforce the ground troops, which appear to be led by an incompetent trooper commander. The Inquisitor takes command of the squad, and we see just a flash of her true disposition. It's important to keep that in mind as you move through the main story. At least it was for me. Think about Phantom Menace as we saw the Palpatine for the first time. Keep it in mind. But the strike force was sent to pacify the planet. They seem to have succeeded, except for a small pocket of resistance in their current region. And one of the troopers claims to have seen a lightsaber, which of course we know should be less frequent, if at all, during this time period after the Jedi Purge. A small skirmish occurs and the Inquisitor takes action. In the end, however, we're left not knowing exactly what happened. Not yet, at least. I mean, this is only the prologue, right? But years earlier, as the main story gets underway, we catch up with Master Eno Cordova. I could be saying that wrong. It could be Eno. It's E-N-O, Cordova, and his Padawan Seer on the planet Namil. Now, right away, we see how impulsive and headstrong she is in nature, much like the Inquisitor. Like I said, keep it in mind. She and Master Cordova solve a dispute between a group of local Trandoshans and the Dupai monks, who actually stole a significant amount of credits from the Trandoshans. Seer, the Padawan, she chooses to use aggressive negotiations, right, with the Trandoshans, as Master Cordova has a civil conversation with the monks in their hut. Seer apologizes once she realizes her mistake, and the two face the Jedi Council back on Coruscant after Master Cordova presents a wise argument in his Padawan's defense. The two are then given a new assignment on the planet Ontotho, which has recently joined the Republic, and in doing so has opened up new trade routes, new trade opportunities that were previously off limits. According to Master Windu, the Ontothan government has entered into a trade agreement with DAA or Da Corporation, allowing them to begin to explore a recently uncovered temple. Now, this is not a Jedi temple, but the Ontothans are still requesting the Republic's presence. The Council is choosing to send Master Cordova because of his interest in artifacts and ancient cultures. Listen, I'm so on fire right now, I'm sweating. The Jedi arrive on Totho. Now this is 3 days later, where they meet Dilanto, Da, the founder of the Da Corporation. He's young, and there's something about this dude that I don't quite like. Something about him I don't quite like. But as for Totho, it appears to be a rocky planet, warm, but it snows. There's a tambic gas in the atmosphere which has a high freezing point, so it snows without getting cold. But the warm temperature on the ground melts the snow and it returns to its gaseous state, causing fog. Oh, and not to mention the gas is poisonous. Yeah, so if it's consumed in large enough quantities, you can die. Totho is a different planet, and it's of course not a vacation destination. Dilanto explains that he too, like Master Cordova, is a student of ancient cultures and artifacts. He then leads the Jedi to a heavy armored transport after he further explains that they will be traveling to Fylar, where the temple was found. Now, Fylar is the only region on Totho that did not agree to a unified planetary government. They are their own nation, and as such, the Republic has no jurisdiction over the temple. But the Phylari ambassador is open to discussing the matter. Now, Dilanto, he stays put while the Jedi go to meet the ambassador. And as they travel through the forest of Fylar, their transport is attacked. Of course, Seer is impulsive and she rushes off to investigate, but Master Cordova is used to her ways and he just follows slowly behind her. And as they grow closer to the blaster fire and the commotion, something clouds their connection to the Force. They center themselves and they open themselves up to the Force as soon as they realize that it's not an absence of the Force, but it's the presence that's overwhelming their senses. And essentially they are blinded and cannot call on the Force in the ways that Jedi typically would. So they resort to good old investigation tactics, right? Cordova picks up a trail and Seer rushes ahead, though Master Cordova does warn her to be patient. Eventually she finds a dead body on a patch of grass, and the shadows around her seem to call to her. Seer heads back to Master Cordova, who's waiting by his transport, to tell him what she found. Now, at that point, the transport is attacked again, but this time it is destroyed, and so too is Master Cordova. Seer is in pain and anguish from her loss. She cries out, and we see that the shadows begin to speak to each other once again. And that's where this first issue ends. Overall, I thought this was a good starting point for the series, as sort of a prequel to the game of the same name. I enjoy the idea of learning more about the backstory before we jump into the game in November. I'm a fan of weaving the platforms together for continuity and a strong and fluid lore. So the depth that this series will provide for the game makes me that much more interested and excited. I thought the art was done well in this issue. Lines were precise, edges were sharp, colors and textures were vibrant and palpable. Nothing too over the top. I thought the shading was done well, and of course the page layout was easy to follow. I'm not an artist, so it was very appealing to me. I mean, I am an artist, but I can't draw for squat. But I recommend this for a read if you're at all interested in getting the game. And if not, I felt that it was at least suitable for the lore. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments. Have you read it? Do you plan to read it? Are you excited for this new game dropping, Jedi Fallen Order, in November? Or do you think that EA is gonna botch it up? I don't know. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell for notifications, and check out my Lore and Legends series where I dive into stories of the past. I want to shout out my brother 2nd Street Marvel, who does a bang-up job reviewing and discussing comics over on his channel. He does daily streams, videos, dives into mainstream and indie comics. Dude is legit, so go check him out. Show him some support. Also, I want to shout out Ryan over at RK Outpost for being a leading authority in the EU lore and an overall good dude. Go check him out as well. Listen, I do what I love. I hope you love what I do. This has been a Rancorous review, comic edition. Until next time. Spider-Man, Spider-Man, jump right up out of Feige's hands. After Disney creates the buzz, Sony says now I want my bug. Spider-Man, heading back to Sony land.